Good morning, everyone. We welcome everyone to the new Hamlet, the full moon meditation hall, on this 4th day of May, the year 2025. Have you noticed that spring has arrived? You think spring is in its fullest manifestation now. Look outside. You see the green everywhere. The trees have offered their leaves. The leaves are full grown by now. The flowers are blooming. There are roses. There's rain, of course, but we're happy because the rain helps the garden grow. It gives water for the plums in our plum orchard. There is sunshine. There's the warmth of spring and the joy of hearing the birds sing. So everything is available right here and now to bring us happiness and to encourage us to live in the present moment. Thai taught so much to encourage us to live in the present moment. Life is available in the here and now. And my appointment with life is the present moment. And Plum Village has been called the country of the present moment. That seems enough to convince me. What helps us live in the present moment? Well, of course, our senses, our eyes, our ears, what we hear, what we see, but also our breath. When I pay attention to breathing in and out, I notice that my thinking stops. It's such an easy and gentle way to stop the motor of the non-stop thinking, to help that motor slow down, rest, and stop just with my in-breath and my out-breath. We have many opportunities to create this habit of relaxing, slowing down, and breathing. And breathing is the gateway to relaxation. Breathing in, I experience my body. Is there tension anywhere? If there is, I know when breathing out, I can let go of the tension. Release. Maybe it will take more than one breath. But don't give up. What we're doing is creating a habit energy, giving our brain a new pathway. Instead of reacting to stimuli, it's noticing with bare attention what is happening in me and around me, and then knowing what practice to start. We know mindfulness is an energy that lets us know what is happening in us and around us. So the breath is our best friend to accompany us in all moments of our daily life. Whether we're in the meditation hall, walking in a crowded city, at work or at home. Whatever our senses are giving us in terms of the sounds of the birds or the traffic, the horns, or a family member needing our attention, whatever our senses are giving us as input, we receive, can become aware if it's having an effect on me, and then if I need to calm down, if I need space to know what to say or to keep silent, the breath is my friend. So during this talk, I'd like to give all of us an opportunity to practice mindful breathing. So there'll be moments where I'll invite all of us, let's just enjoy a moment of coming back to ourself and breathing in and breathing out. Let's take this moment right now to do that. Is that all right? Do you agree? It's pretty early to start this habit energy, but why not begin? And then after your week or longer at Plum Village, or this day of mindfulness, you will have practiced it a few times at least. So let us hear the wake-up sound of the bell that lets us know, prepare. And then we'll hear the full sound, and then we'll breathe in and out. Dear friends, when I was quiet and breathing in and out, I heard the birds or maybe the frogs croaking. So when we take this opportunity to quiet our human voice, we can hear the voice of life around us, the animals, the birds, and it's very refreshing. This week we're welcoming a special group from Upper Hamlet, and you're having a week of coming back to Mother Earth. Is that correct? Something like that. Returning to yourself, returning to Mother Earth. Tai has written calligraphy and also written a very beautiful long text. The birds are singing. Do you hear? I'll be quiet so you can hear the birds. Maybe it's the blackbird, the marl. Tai has written a very beautiful long poem in praise of Mother Earth. And I'd like to read some parts of the long poem to nourish our deep love and gratitude to Mother Earth. And I think all the translators, do you have a copy? Vietnamese? French? Yeah, okay. In praise of Mother Earth. Homage to you, refreshing Earth Bodhisattva, Mother of this world with its many species. We want to turn to you with respect. Beautiful green planet in the midst of the sky. You who have given birth to countless species, produced so many wonders of life, loved in the ultimate sense of non-discrimination, embraced all species, not bearing a single one, loyal and reliable, tolerant and stable. Whenever spring returns, you wear a new robe of red roses, the green willow, beautiful and fresh. May we follow your good example. and live every moment with true peace and joy. Homage to the refreshing Mother Earth Bodhisattva. So Thai considered the planet Earth, the beautiful green planet, as a bodhisattva, a living energy. Buddha also recognized the important and deep qualities of Mother Earth when he instructed his teenage son, Rahula. Rahula was 18 years old, a novice, not ready yet for the full ordination. And the Buddha observed that it was time for Rahula to learn some ways of practicing. You know, when you're teenagers, no matter what century or what country, I think the mind is going through a lot, the brain is going through a lot of changes and needs some guidance. So the Buddha said to his son, Rahula, practice like the earth. Practice like the earth because the earth accepts everything. No matter what liquid you pour on the earth, be it milk or oil or urine, and he used all examples of what we can put on the earth, feces, and he went on and on. The earth absorbs it, accepts it. And then the Buddha said, Rahula, be like the air. And he gave example of the air. No matter what is in the air, it contains the fragrance, the odor. It carries it with it. When we walk past the flowers, yes, it's the air that gives us this perfume. When we walk past the happy farm and they've just delivered a truckload of manure, the air carries it. The air doesn't say, no, we don't accept that. No, the air accepts everything. Rahula, be like the water. And the water, of course, takes on any shape of the container. It's fluid. It also accepts. It doesn't throw back. Yeah. And be like the fire. Whatever we put in the fire, it will burn. It accepts it. It doesn't reject or push back. So in essence, the Buddha was helping understand the four great elements of the earth, air, fire, and water as resources for the practice, because the earth has stability, loyalty, acceptance, and the capacity to transform. So we're very grateful, in speaking of the earth and transformation, we're grateful to the happy farmers in all of our hamlets now. You know, the upper hamlet was the first hamlet to have the happy farm in the year 2013. And it was Thai's initiative because that early on he wanted us to be growing our own vegetables, biologique or organic, without the use of pesticides or chemicals, seasonal, and from the region. And then a few years later, Lower Hamlet opened their happy farm, and then New Hamlet the year after. But actually, Sister Bao Nghiem, Suchi Bao Nghiem, Sume Bao Nghiem was already in the garden. She was growing vegetables as our happy farmer. But now we're grateful to all of the happy farmers in all of the hamlets for producing these wonderful vegetables for us to eat. When we speak of vegetables, what comes to mind is also the compost. And so the happy farmers go in pair with the compost team. Is that true in all your hamlets? We're composting and recycling, of course, because the compost transforms and becomes nutriment for the farms, for the earth. And what is not eaten, or the peelings from the vegetables, go into the compost bin, and then we have nutriments for the soil. So there's the interbeing, there's the close relationship between the farming and the composting. Adding into that is recycling. All of this is ways that we are aware of Mother Earth and supporting her health. Let us have another moment to come back to ourselves and experience your in-breath and your out-breath. And don't force it, just let it be a natural in-breath and out-breath. You may want to bring your attention to where the air enters your nose, the nostril. Is the air cool? How does it feel? And when the air comes out of your nostril, is it still cool, or is it a little bit warmer? So this is your mindfulness and concentration with this simple breath. Let us enjoy this awareness, a moment of awareness. So, dear friends, I've been talking about the earth. Please allow me to make another step with the earth as a theme. And that is in Thay's book, Understanding Our Mind, the mind is described as the earth, can be considered as the earth. And that's the store consciousness, the deepest part of our awareness. And in the earth are all kinds of seeds, just like the farmers plant seeds. And these seeds are understood in terms of experiences that we have had, even before our birth, when we were in our mother's womb, experiences of our ancestors that were transmitted generation after generation, are also in the depths of our consciousness, the earth of our mind, as well as what we receive as sensory impressions in daily life, in the present moment. Everything is received with our sense organs and then is stored. And it's called store consciousness. And Thay has described store consciousness as the hard disk. We're in an age of computers now, technology. It's your hard disk. And everything stays there Actually, the seeds remain sleeping. They are anusaya, they are sleeping until something wakes them up, stimulates them. So our practice is dependent to some extent on awareness of actually what is coming up for us in terms of a feeling or an emotion. It could be happiness, listening to the birds. My ears receive the song, and then the depth of my consciousness wakes up with happiness. Do you follow what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit more. Okay. So all kinds of seeds can be watered, woken up, triggered, activated. And it depends on what is happening in the present moment, but also as well on how I am helping them wake up with my thinking. So if I have a tendency to think about the past, if I've suffered a lot in the past, and I'm thinking about it again and again and again, well, all the memories of what happened in the past will manifest in the mind consciousness, and that can affect my body, my health as well. And so sometimes if we spend a lot of time thinking about what happened in the past with suffering, we create a habit energy. And then we go in that direction, we think that way very easily. We also do it to ourselves in a way. So the past can be activated by something in the present moment, a person's way of speaking, the voice, what I see, but also the words I give myself, the self-talk. So what we want to do is, with our energy of mindfulness, oh, I'm thinking of the past. Oh, well, it's not too healthy for me right now. Let me stop and breathe in and out to stop that. Or we can choose other ways to help the mind land on something else. Pay attention to something else. Yes? Walking is another basic practice for us. Mindful walking. And walking in nature is especially nourishing and healing. It gives us the impression of life, what is beautiful, and what is nourishing. So the seeds are there, and they're sleeping. And we don't know that we have the seed of anger, for example, until it's watered or triggered. Yeah. So when it happens, no judgment, please don't criticize. Be like the earth. This is coming up for me. I recognize, I embrace my anger or fear or anxiety. It's there. And then we can do some kind of embodied practice. The breathing, the walking, maybe yoga, dancing. Maybe you have other ways of releasing the tension and helping your mind change focus, change the CD, changing the peg, as the Buddha said. So I've been talking about seeds that wake up when they're watered. The earth sometimes is quite dry, yeah? There's the climate change, global warming, lack of water, yeah? In continents where the earth is so dry it cracks. and it becomes hard. And a friend the other day was asking me if I can mention something about what happens when family members become older. In a sense, with aging, we hear the phrase hardening of the arteries, yes? Body gets old and everything kind of hardens up. We can't stand up so easily, or there's the changes in the brain, we forget or can't remember. Yeah, so this kind of hardening in terms of relationships, family relationships with loved ones, maybe you've noticed it in your parents or grandparents or people you're living with, this hardening. Well, I think of the earth. And what does the earth need when it's so dry? I think it needs water. So we have our wonderful practice of watering the flowers. Can we do that? What I meant by that is to say to someone whose earth is a bit dry, they're not like they were 20 years ago, or not smiling so much. They're speaking with more irritation. They're complaining a lot. They're, irritable. Well, the list goes on. What do you think there would help the dry earth? Thai would say flower watering. And what he meant was to say appreciations, to find something beautiful, to remember and communicate to this person. Dear Grandma, I remember the time we had so much fun together. Okay, something like that. You remember this very happy memories. That's watering the seed of happiness in someone whose mind earth has become dry and a bit solid and a bit hard in terms of their communication. So you offer a different kind of communication to them. Loving words, appreciation, helping them remember happy times together. It's a possibility. These beautiful flowers are fresh and are alive, and they are in water. They have constant source of water. So I think in our relationships, we also need a constant source of kind words, appreciation, and love in whatever way that the other person accepts and appreciates. So we want to understand. We love and maybe we don't understand well enough. So it's the understanding and love together that can help the dry earth. These are just some thoughts. They may not be the absolute truth for you, but they're offered as maybe an experiment. Try it. Because sometimes we just give up. We just don't visit anymore, or we send a card or something. But try to keep the personal connection alive, if possible. I say this also in terms of changing the topic, but in terms of online Sangha meetings versus impersonal connection. And all of us here are having a personal connection with Sangha. And that gives us more energy. The dynamics are fuller. And so if in-person Sangha meetings can happen or develop or try, I think it's good. Though online Sangha meetings are essential if there is nothing else. They served the world during the COVID when all of us were in lockdown, and then sanghas continued courageously with online sanghas. And now there are wonderful online sanghas because people can come from all parts of the world and be with the online group. So it has its very wonderful aspect of the online sangha. So I know both are wonderful. So let's hear a sound of the bell. And if you would like a sip of water after you breathe, then please join me as I enjoy my cup of tea. Thank you. Let's breathe and relax. And then Thai has written many gathas or 4-line poems that we use in our daily mindfulness practice. And they really help us be present with what we are doing, what our hands are doing, and they keep the mind in the present moment. So there's the gatha on water. If you're drinking water, the source of water. The water comes from high mountain sources, or the water comes from deep beneath the sea. Wonderfully, the water comes to me, and its benefits touch me deeply. Now I want to say that the book of gathas and the verses has been revised since I learned them. So maybe what I've just quoted was the version I learned many years ago, and the chanting book has been revised with a new wording, but I think the essence is the same. Or this cup of tea in my 2 hands, mindfulness is held perfectly. Body and mind dwell in the very here and now. Something like that. So let us enjoy a sip, and it's fine if we do it together. But I was taught not to do it while someone is talking. But it's okay, we all do it together and no one's talking. So dear friends, the beauty of spring surrounds us. And every year we celebrate the beauty of spring in terms of the lunar New Year, Tet, or the Chinese New Year. It's the new moon of the first month of the new year. And Thai always gave us 2 sentences called the parallel verses, which was really an ancient tradition. And it's a very beautiful time in Vietnam. The Mai flowers are blooming, and we see the parallel verses everywhere, and because this tradition has been kept started by Thai and kept here in Plum Village and all of our monasteries and practice centers, you can recognize them by the diamond shape. They're on the door, usually printed on red paper with the 2 sentences. And these sentences are a very beautiful and simple way to help us and encourage us in our practice for the new year. As brothers and sisters, we know we have the Shining Light sessions that also give us encouragement and kind of wake us up to how to practice better. And these sessions are not 2 sentences. They can last for 20 minutes each person or even longer. What is so wonderful about the parallel verses is that it's just 2 sentences. So the 2 sentences for this year are, each breath gives life. Think about that. There is life, and who is breathing? Everything is breathing. Is that true? The trees are breathing. You know, we breathe out the carbon dioxide, and the trees breathe in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. They breathe it in, and during the night, there's a wonderful transformation process, and they breathe out oxygen. That's one example. The trees are breathing. Now, even whales are breathing. Don't they spout up and then they breathe? The birds are breathing. Everything is breathing. I think the flowers are breathing. You see? I mean, otherwise how could they open? When we breathe in, our lungs open. And we breathe out, our lungs close. But it seems that the flowers keep a constant in-breath. They open, and they stay open until they breathe out, which is when they fade. Yeah, that's just a poetic way of trying to describe that everything is breathing. Each breath gives life. And our first breath, after coming into the world, was the breath that we made. Yes, we made for ourselves. We had to breathe in and out to continue in life. Before the birth, it was all done in the womb with mommy and the oxygen coming in through the umbilical cord. But after the birth experience, we breathed in and out. And so in our mindfulness practice, we continue this, the importance of the breathing in and out to calm the mind, to relax, to concentrate the mind. And with repeated practice of mindful breathing in and out, we develop the capacity to concentrate the mind. We keep it steady, keep it just with the breath, and pretty soon you'll know, wow, now I begin to understand things I didn't understand before. So it's the mindful breathing starting this whole process that leads to concentrating my mind. Oh, it's not jumping here and there, it's not going to the past or the future, it's staying with the body and the breath. And the breath keeps the mind in the body. Truthfully, the mind likes to travel. It can go to any country, anywhere, in a second. But the breath keeps the mind in the body. I'm concentrating, wonderful. And then, after a little while, wow, I'm beginning to understand more. Wow, it gives insight and understanding. So this is the process. Mindfulness, concentration, giving us insight. into what's the best way to help Mother Earth. What's the best way to help our family members be happy? What's the best way to nourish brotherhood and sisterhood in the community? The best way to create spiritual friendships. All we need is the breath. Staying with the breath. Developing the habit energy to breathe, to relax. And then good things will follow. So that was the first sentence for this year. The second one is, each step brings healing. So we have the healing of our body and mind. And I think we've heard that we should make 10,000 steps every day for the health of your heart and the brain and all that. But honestly, well, I don't have a counter, so that's good. I don't know how many steps I make. And then, how do you feel if you don't do 10,000 steps? Are you happy? Or you feel kind of, oh, failure? So I don't know. I think now they are lowering the expectation to 5,000 steps. That's better than nothing. So that's healing, healing what needs to be healed in terms of the body, the circulation, the hormones, the heart, the brain. Brings healing, but it brings health. So each step brings health and healing. Now the healing comes in if we're experiencing some anger and sadness and a really strong emotion that we feel is stronger than my capacity right now. So the best thing in terms of practicing is to try to not figure it out with your brain. Start walking mindfully, okay? Just do the walking. And to not think about whatever the situation is. Simply walk for the sake of walking. And this is the healing, because the energy in you of suffering, despair, fear, anxiety, and anger, all these are energies, yes? It will be transformed with the energy of your body touching the earth, with your feet touching the earth. You don't have to walk fast. In fact, whatever pace you can do, it's experiencing your feet touching the earth. And remember what the Buddha told Rahula, earth receives everything. So you'll give all of this suffering, Mother Earth, accept it. And there are other beautiful practices. Thai wrote the physical touching of the earth, the 5 touchings of the earth that we do are truly healing in the 5 dimensions of our life. To develop this gratitude and appreciation for our spiritual teachers, our blood ancestors, the land in which we are living, and gratitude to the people who have loved us, that maybe we haven't been able to show our love. And then the 5th touching of the earth is for healing. Healing those relationships, the events that have created suffering. So we know there are wars. If there's been a period of war, non-stop war, and more wars developing. So there's hatred, there's the practice of hatred and killing. So the 5th touching of the earth is a practice to wish to send this energy that will help those who are causing harm to recognize their goodness actually, and to have reconciliation. We will not continue to feel hatred. I want to touch the earth and let Mother Earth heal me. so my heart will be transformed. So walking meditation is a transforming and healing practice. So let's enjoy another sound of the bell. And I know we're developing this wonderful neural pathway of just breathing. If you're feeling something, breathe in, breathe out, let it flow out. Okay? So, dear friends, I've been talking about experiencing strong emotion and suffering, and I found a very beautiful teaching from Thai that I'd like to read to you now, and it's called "Let in the Light," and it's really about how to handle fear and strong emotions. Because the world events now are such that fear can very easily be watered and manifest in us in our daily life if we keep in touch with the daily news, which may not be always the best thing to do if we feel very vulnerable and sensitive. But here's what Thai is going to teach us. A yogi, a practitioner, is an artist who knows how to handle their fear and other kinds of painful feelings or emotions. They do not feel they are a victim because they know there is something they can do. You listen to the suffering in you and you get in touch with it. Breathe in and out deeply to see, why am I suffering? Where has it come from? Your suffering, your fear, may reflect the suffering of your parents, your ancestors, and the planet. It also contains the suffering of your time, your community, your society, and your nation. It's very important not to cover it up with music, movies, computer games, etc. To have the courage to go home to yourself, to recognize and hold the suffering inside and look deeply into it, may be the most important thing for you to do as a meditator. The meditator breathes in and says, "Hello, my fear, my anger, my despair. I will take good care of you." The moment you recognize the feeling and smile to it with love and care, embracing the fear with mindfulness, it will begin to change. That is the miracle of mindfulness. It's like the morning sunlight shining on a lotus flower. The bud has not yet opened, but as the sunlight pours down, the photons penetrate into the bud, and after 1 or 2 hours of being penetrated by the light, the flower opens itself. We have the energy of mindfulness generated by mindful walking, sitting, or breathing. With that energy, we embrace our fear as gently as the light embracing the flower. When the two kinds of energies encounter each other, there will be a change, a transformation. The energy of tenderness penetrates the fear, anger, or despair. You hold it as dearly as you might hold a wounded child. If the emotion becomes very strong, you'll feel it coming up. The way to handle it is to put yourself in a stable position and use your in-breath and your out-breath to make you solid so it can't sweep you away. Lying down or sitting, you focus your mind on what is called the point an inch below your belly button. And you can even place your hands there. You concentrate 100% on your in-breath and out-breath and the rising and falling of your abdomen. And you'll be able to stop the thinking. In that moment, it's very important to stop the thinking. Because the more you think, the more your despair and fear will carry you away. Don't be afraid. The wave of emotion is like a storm, and it will go away after some time. You may breathe in for 6, 7, 8, or even 10 seconds. And then you breathe out for 10, 12, 15 seconds or more without thinking. And you will find relief. So this teaching by Thais is something he did, of course. And we can adapt it to our needs. If we discover that the breathing actually makes the feeling stronger, don't do the breathing. Do the walking. Okay, try the walking. I have mentioned spring and Tet and the New Year a few minutes ago, and now I'm going to come back to that. And I would like to talk a little bit about the parallel verses that were offered to the Sangha in the year 2017. That was some time ago, and I loved it so much that I put them up on my wall, and I'll tell you what they are. So we'll end the talk just with these beautiful parallel verses of 8 years ago. So this will be possibly a topic for your sharing this afternoon or not, but here they are. The first parallel verse was called Awakening the Source of Understanding. Okay? And the second parallel verse for that year was Opening the Path of Love. Isn't that beautiful? Where were we 8 years ago? You can think about that. Would these two sentences, would they have fit your life 8 years ago? It's very nice. Were you practicing 8 years ago? Awakening the source of your understanding about yourself, the world, other people, the planet, Awakening the source of understanding. I have that on my wall. The second one is Opening the Path of Love. Now this one I don't have on my wall because it may give me ideas. Opening the path of love. I got to go open the path of love. I stay in the monastery, but the path of love for us is Kalyana Mitra, the spiritual friendship. Yes, it's brotherhood, sisterhood. And love has so many expressions, so many definitions, you see? But many of you may want to put on the wall opening the path of love in your life, to have loving relationships that fulfill your deepest desire. So, do you want me to write it on the board, or I said it clearly enough? It's clear enough, okay. Awakening the source of understanding. Opening the path of love. So I found a sentence that the Buddha offered about how to awaken. That might be one of the questions we begin with, how to awaken this source of understanding. I realize when my eyes open in the morning, I'm awake. I read it. It said, when your eyes open in the morning, you are awake. Don't stay in bed, get up. Sometimes I stay in bed, I'm a little bit tired, yeah. But I'm awake, my eyes are open. Okay, that's one kind of awakening. The eyes are open, you're awake. And there's another awakening, the spiritual awakening. Now the Buddha said, to awaken, sit calmly, letting each breath clear your mind and open your heart. That's so beautiful. So the breath will clear our mind because the breath will take the place of the non-stop thinking. Open our heart is to open the space in us where we'll understand and have love and compassion. Yeah. Awakening the source of understanding. So we have the shining light sessions, and sometimes we really wake up to how others perceive us, yeah? All our relationships are awakening the source of understanding ourselves, sometimes in terms of other people's perceptions of us. Awakening the source of understanding of whatever, myself, the other, the earth, Mother Earth, yeah. I want to share a very personal awakening of an understanding I didn't have. Yeah, it was just last evening. I was reading, the internet before Dharma talk. I do my research. I try to get enough information, but actually it connected to a recent retreat. A young sister from Lower Hamlet and we went to retreats last month in Greece, and we offered a day of mindfulness in Athens, and as well as a retreat in the Peloponnese. There's a retreat center in the mountains surrounded by olive trees, and then we went on to Egina Island, where there's another retreat center. And it was a very important visit for me because I had the opportunity to meet family there, just 2 cousins. On Egina, she's about as old as me, and in the Peloponnese, my cousin, he's 20 years younger, but still old. And it's so wonderful. The Sangha has started, and they've done important online Sangha sessions. And even thanks to the UK, they are mentoring 4 aspirants to become interbeing members. though 3 of them had changes in their lives, so now there's 1, certain. It's fine. And it was really wonderful. The love and the wish to practice is there, though they're very young and very new in the practice, and they're no OI members, and it's a Greek Orthodox country. It's in the Constitution, and if the young generation is not completely practicing the orthodoxy in terms of going to church every week, but usually at Easter the family gets together, and Christmas, it's that kind of a connection. But what I read last night was that Greece is the second most poorest country in the European Union. I had no idea, really. I think there's one Romanian country that's poorer than Greece. It's number 2, the poorest country. While we were there, we didn't know that. I didn't know that. So my perception of what happened and all that was just, I was ignorant, but now I know. So I'm glad I know, and I'm happy to let you know that, Greece, you can have vacation and have Sangha. It's starting. It's hard to believe, the average, let's see, the monthly income minimum wage is 800 euros a month, a little more. So that's 200 euros a week. And hard to imagine because the tourists who come in the summer are not poor. No, they can afford it. And apparently their economy is tourism, olive oil, olives, and feta cheese. Okay. So that's what I learned. Awakening the source of my understanding thanks to something I read which I didn't know. So this awakening, in a sense, opens the door to compassion and gratitude. Yeah. So maybe this could be a topic for anyone if you want to connect with awakening. Some source woke you up to something. Something woke you up to the joy of living. For me, it's the birds. The wonderful merle, the birds the blackbirds that sing. Now, they have quite a melody line. So it's not always wakening up the source to suffering. No, because the 4 Noble Truths have clearly happiness is possible. Okay, let's remember that. And then the path to happiness is the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. So, and during Dharma discussion, you can talk about the Noble Eightfold Path. Does everybody know what that is? Right view, right thinking, right speech, right action, right diligence, right livelihood, right mindfulness, right concentration, right understanding. That's interbeing, impermanence. It's all going to change. We need one another, yeah. So that was the awakening, the source of understanding. Now, opening the path of love. I need to tell you the Buddha's teachings on love. 4 aspects. The first is compassion, karuna. Understanding, that they're suffering and we want to do something to help. We go to Greece, you help them, practice with them, compassion, loving kindness, speaking kindly. Maitri. You offer small acts of kindness. You watered the flower. You watered the flower with kind words to your grandparent, grandma, or mommy, or somebody, your little child who needs your kind words. Mudita, joy. Now, true love has joy. Really does. You smile when you see each other. You smile when you're together as a sangha. There's happiness. At the end of the French retreat, it was full of love and joy. How do we know? Hugs. Everyone was hugging. That's joy. Not everyone, but there were a lot of hugs. That's part of love, expressing your appreciation and love. And to make hugging a meditation, we always ask permission. Yes, please. Don't just grab. May not be a moment of happiness. You ask permission. And then the fourth element of love is upeksha, equanimity. And Thai said this is inclusiveness. That we don't have a mind that rejects or discriminates against. Instead, we include everyone. All people, animals, plants, and minerals. That's the inclusive, the spectrum of the fourth element of love. So opening the path of love, you can choose what kind of love you need in your life right now and where to find it. So we recommend Plum Village. You have the Earth Retreat, and then we have brothers and sisters, and we practice spiritual friendship, yes. And but there are many ways to define this word and to define it for yourself and to see what you really need or what is best for you. You may think you need something, but it's really not the best for you. So we say, stay in Plum Village. But I say this just as a little bit of a promotion, and you can ordain, or you find your, what do we call it, the soulmate here. That's fine. Yeah, it's very nice. So I think I have talked enough. And just thank you, dear friends, for listening. And we wish you a joyful and happy day of practice with us today. A happy continuation of your retreat with the Mother Earth. And now we relax as we listen to 3 sounds of the bell.